What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of kevmacvideos, True Stories. Welcome to another episode, kevmacvideos, True Stories.
I give a roll, you know what I'm saying? Cruising down the street in my city car. Oh, I hit front, back, side to side.
For my love, my dog, the pimp, the hog.
Check it out.
Had this dope, sweatshirt and low soul.
That was it. I never stopped banging. I started banging hard, then I got so hard till it was a shame.
Welcome to another episode of kevmacvideos, True Stories. Today's story takes place in 1991. The second part of the story is in 1994. But in 91, I had a gun case or suspended license, one or the other, and I did a few months in the county jail. So I'm in the county jail, and my father comes to visit me. I'm a trustee at the time. I'm wearing the greens. I get an hour-long visit, whereas regular inmates get like 15 minutes, something like that, visits. And so as a trustee, we roam down and go to visits, and we cool. Like, police ain't really tripping off us. They don't too much do us wrong or none of that. Like, we like basically like some good model class inmates, so to speak. So now I'm down there and the phones are tripping. The phones ain't working, or the police being lazy, deputies being lazy and don't want to watch over the whole visiting room. So they say that I have to go over onto the row with the regular inmates that's in county blues, but I'll still get my hour-long visit and all that. So, all right, I'm cool with that. You know, Pops is here, man. I get to see Pops. You know what I mean? And I'm there visiting with Pops. So where I'm at, I'm on a row with all dudes in blues. But I got to go all the way into the row, so I'm closer to the wall. I'm like probably the second or third seat from the wall. So it's all inmates all the way to the end of the visiting room or the visiting row. So behind me is another row of inmates that's on the visit. So it's two rows of inmates. And I'm sitting there with Pops and we talking, you know what I'm saying? Pops asking different questions, how things go. He already know how things go with my brother and his friends, but now it's me. And he's asking me, you know, how things going up in there and how do they go. So I'm telling him, we talking about some Crip shit, you know what I'm saying? And I see Pops looking up. He's looking up like behind me, and he got this worried look on his face. So I look around, I see some movement. I see dudes moving around. He like, why they standing up? Shit, I don't know why they standing up. They must be going back. He like, nah, they not going back. And they keep looking at you. Everybody looking at me. So I laugh, you know what I'm saying? I laugh like, whatever. Like, I don't know these dudes. They probably hear the conversations that we having, or maybe somebody noticed me and pointed me out, spoke on me or something. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not tripping. Not being no tough guy. It's no worries for me at this time. And so Pop said, man, look, they coming out their handcuffs. And I'm like, oh, because what happened is some of the gang members that came down on the visit, and they were all handcuffed. I guess, if I remember correctly, one hand to the table, and the other one you could use the phone with. They come out their handcuffs. And I'm like, damn, they A-Tray gangsters and Hoovers. Some big dudes, man, some big dudes too. And Pop said, man, I think they're going to get you. I'm like, he said, you know where they from? I said, I know he from Hoover, and I hear them talking about A-Tray gangster, and Pops knew what that meant. But still, I'm not worried because I figure these dudes don't know me or whatever, right? So Pops is getting real worried. He like, man, I think I'm going to end this visit. I think we need to cut this short. I'm like, man, they visiting ain't but 15 minutes. We good. He like, nah, I don't know, man. He said, I'm not comfortable with this. I'm like, man, don't even trip. Like, you waited all this time to see me. You good? I'm good. We good. He's like, man, it just something ain't right. So we sit there and we continue to visit. These dudes, they talking like it's on. They talking about it's on, and they dissing some hoods, but nothing ever went down. They just walked around like they wasn't tripping off me. They walked around to different roles. They came back. They cuffed themselves back up, and then their visits was over. So they leave. Nothing happened. Now, 1994, I'm in Biscaluz Center. Now, I'm in Biscaluz, and Pops comes to visit me. And I'm in there with Cousin Kerry and a few other dudes. And so I come down to the visiting room, man. I'm happy. Pops come to visit me. I get a chance to come out. I didn't get a lot of visits at Biscaluz. I got a few, but not a lot. Biscaluz Center was located like Monterey Park, near East L.A. off the 10 freeway. And over there by the Civil Brand, the ladies' portion of the county jail back then. And, it's kind of like, almost like a prison environment. I say that because you have a big yard and you have the gun towers and you have all the barbed wire over the fence. So it's like graduating from the county jail to the next step, basically. And so it's a lot of Mexicans in there. The Mexicans got us outnumbered. We got decent sized blacks, but we outnumbered by the Mexicans. And it's not really no tension other than the personal beef that I talked about in another story. Back then, it was a lot of riots going down, black against brown. And blacks don't always stay down. And so for them to see me stay down and hear me getting down, there's no screaming, there's no hollering, there's no calling for deputies, none of that shit. We just squabbling in the cell, getting down, side by side, shoulder to shoulder. And when the deputies got there, we was both still on our feet. And that's how it was. So that was like the best get down I ever had against the rivals, our brown rivals. It was a memorable experience that I never could forget. Like, you don't forget that black eye. You don't forget that migraine. That essay hit me so hard, I don't know if my head hit the bars in back of me or if knuckles went through my eye to the back of my membrane. But my back of my head was hurting like a mug. And so now we get shipped to Biscaluz. And so I go out on a visit. And man, it ain't nothing but Mexicans, man. It's Mexicans on every row in the visiting room, man. It seemed like I'm the only black dude in there, period. I'm not saying I was the only one. I think I was the only one, but damn sure felt like I was the only black dude in there. And, I'm talking to Pops, and Pops said, man, they looking at you. I'm like, who looking at me? I'm thinking you're talking about the police. I'm like, who looking at me? Like, all those Mexicans. Now, my Pops, he showed up like with a bald head, like a Southsider. And, Pops had that Mexican look to him. I mean, his walk, his demeanor, and he could speak fluent Spanish. And, he come from Texas, Bastrop, Texas, him and his mom. So they kind of favor Mexicans a little bit. They got some Indian in their background. Well, Pops got some Indian in his background from his father. And so they got their little similar look as a native Indian or a Mexican, right? And I look and I see dudes passing notes like they passing kites and trying to be undercover, but I see them passing the kites and I'm not tripping. I don't think they passing no kite for me, you know what I mean? So it's this little Mexican, always the little Mexican, bald head, got a BST in the back of his head, I guess Bassett Street, and he's pale, real pale dude, and a little chunky. And he's like, what are you? So I'm high-key offended. Like, you don't just ask a black dude, what are you? I'm like, what you mean, what am I? He said, where you from? I think I'm from Rolling 60s. He said, no, I'm saying no. Like, you one of us? No, I ain't one of you. I'm black. I'm black. I know I don't look black, but I'm putting emphasis. I'm black. Like I'm dark skinned. I'm black. I'm really with my black pride. I got the little afro going on, you know what I'm saying? got the little plastic pick comb and shit, you know what I mean? And no, this Crip here. And he like, man, what is your dad? So at first I don't really get it. I say my dad is black. And then I realized, like, wait a minute, I should be offended. So I'm like, why the fuck you ask me about my daddy? He said, man, because you know, you got to roll with us if you one of us. I'm like, I'm not one of y'all, and I'm not rolling with y'all. This Crip. I'm black, fool. And he turns and he starts whispering to the other essay, and they start whispering. And it's going in unison. It's going down the row. So whoever said something or whatever was down on that end, because the message just went on down. And Pop's like, man, they gonna get you when you leave. When I leave and you leave, they gonna get you. He said, this is what I'm gonna do. He said, when I leave, man, you kind of try to stay back, stay over here, and I'm gonna leave you some money. That way they be gone and you still be here to get your money. I'm like, yeah, leave me some money, but leave me that wet 40. But don't even trip, man. I'm good. And Pops got me thinking now, like, they gonna get me. They gonna get me. And most of them leave. A couple of them stay and get some money. And I walk out, and it's a tall essay, skinny dude, he say, hey, Holmes, where you from? I said, man, I already been through this with old boy, man. I'm from Roller 60 Crip. And I'm like, oh, all right, Holmes, you know, the homies was wondering what you was. Like, I'm black. Let's make no mistakes about it. I'm black. And they was cool with it because I didn't ever get no funny looks or no other questions or none of that. You know what I mean? How much of that played a part of incident that I had earlier, I have no idea. I don't think they're related. So that next day, they give us yard. So we're going to the yard, and I look upstairs, and I'm thinking to myself, do I want to go up there or go to the yard and see if I see this dude? And Cousin Kerry comes right up behind me. Come on, little homie, let's go up there. So boom, without second thought, we shoot up the stairs. We walk into the building, and I immediately spot the essay from East L.A. But he's like midway through the building, kind of almost midway through the building. And I say, hey, fool. And I'm pointing, hey, fool. And Cousin Kerry is right there next to me. And now a bunch of Southsiders, they are a barrier between us and the East L.A. dude. And Cousin Kerry with a straight face says, oh, I see why y'all call yourself trustee, because 13 of y'all are stopping my homeboy from whooping your homeboy's ass. And I'm like, oh, shit. It feel like I just swallowed a frog, man. My Adam's apple got like a heartbeat up in it right now. Maybe they wanted to make sure before they took off on me or disciplined me that I was one of them and not a black dude. But yeah, man, so Pops told me, he said, man, I ain't coming to see you no more. And he wasn't lying, because every time I went to jail after that, he ain't never came to see me again. Southsiders done ran Pops off, man. The Southsiders, the A-Track gangs, they done ran Pops off, man. He worried about his son, man. I'm cool, man. This is jail, man. This is what you do in jail. This is what you go through, man. It's just part of the whole get out. Ain't nothing to be afraid about. It's going to get cracking or it's not going to get cracking. But, you know, the whole thing is just mind your own and live long. That's going to do it for this episode of KM Video True Stories. Just wanted to tell y'all that quick story about why Pops wouldn't come visit me and kind of open up some doors to what goes on the racial aspects when you look like an SA or a white boy, but you black. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Be sure to hit the like button. Remember, every story ain't going to be dramatic in this hell of a story, but it's a story involving me in my life. Leave a comment and be sure to tune in again, man. I have some more stories for y'all, man, without question. We're going to have more stories the rest of this month. And we're going to get into next month with these stories and try to get the channels back cracking, man. With that said, I'm out of here, y'all. Salute. Peace.